My dear friends, look at me. Right now, this very moment, I want you to ask yourself something. What are you holding on to? No, really, I'm serious. Stop and think about it. You know what I see when I look at all of you? I see people carrying invisible boulders. Past arguments, future worries, all the ways life should have gone but didn't. You're walking around with this weight on your shoulders, and you've been carrying it so long you don't even notice it anymore. Let me tell you a story. When I first arrived at the monastery, I was young, maybe 23. The master looked at me and said, "You come here with empty hands, but a very full heart, too full. We need to make space." I didn't understand then. I thought I was there to gain wisdom, to fill myself up with teachings, but he knew better. He knew I was drowning in what I was already carrying. This is what the Buddha called upadana, grasping, clinging. And listen to me carefully, it's killing your peace. You're gripping onto things that are already gone, or things that haven't even happened yet. You replay that argument from 3 years ago. You check your phone every 2 minutes. You need everything to go exactly right or you fall apart. Do you see what I'm saying? Can you feel that tension in your chest right now? Here's what I want you to understand. Peace isn't something you achieve by adding more accomplishments, more control, more perfection. No, no, no. Peace is what's already there, underneath all this clinging. You uncover it by releasing. The Buddha said, "You only lose what you cling to." Let that sink in. I know this is hard to hear. I know you're thinking, but Tenzin, if I let go, everything will fall apart. Trust me on this. I've been where you are. I've spent decades teaching people just like you, and I promise you, the freedom waiting on the other side of letting go is beyond anything you can imagine right now. Stay with me through these teachings. We're going to learn how to set down what you've been carrying. You ready? Let's begin. Wait. Before you tense up, I need to tell you something. Letting go doesn't mean what you think it means. I can feel some of you getting defensive already. You want me to just give up, stop caring, let people walk all over me? No, that's not what this is. Not even close. Listen carefully. Letting go is not apathy. It's not pretending things don't hurt. It's not spiritual bypassing where you slap a smile on your face and ignore your pain. It's definitely not condoning harm or staying in situations that destroy you. So what is it? Letting go means releasing your grip on how things should be while fully engaging with how things are. Stay with me here. This is important. A woman came to me once, tears streaming down her face. She said, "I need to let go of my love for someone who hurt me, but I can't." I asked her, "Why do you need to stop loving?" She looked confused. I said, "What if letting go means you release the demand that this person change, that they apologize, that they become who you needed them to be? You can love them and still let go of the rope you're pulling in this tug of war. You see, there's pain in life. That's inevitable. But suffering, that's what happens when we resist the pain, when we fight against what is. Think of holding ice in your hand. You can acknowledge it's cold. You can feel it. You don't have to grip it until your hand freezes and goes numb. You can just hold it lightly, then release it when it's time. This is sati, mindfulness. You feel it, you acknowledge it, you allow it, then you release it. Really think about it right now. How much energy are you spending trying to control things you absolutely cannot control? How many hours worrying about what people think? How much sleep lost trying to force outcomes? Here's my first teaching for you. You can care deeply without controlling tightly. I want you to do something for me this week. Notice 3 times when you're gripping versus holding gently. Just notice. That's it. Don't misunderstand me. I still struggle with this. After decades of practice, I still catch myself white-knuckling through life. But now I notice, and when I notice, I can choose differently. That's where freedom begins. I see you. I see you trying so hard to hold everything together, to make it all work out perfectly. And I see how exhausted you are. Can I tell you something? 99% of your suffering comes from one thing, resisting what is. Let me tell you about the rain. Years ago at the monastery, we had this beautiful outdoor meditation space. One morning, we're all sitting there, maybe 40 of us, and the rain starts, just a drizzle at first, then a downpour. And I'm watching everyone. Some people are getting frustrated, tensing up like they could somehow will the rain to stop by sitting there angry about it. The master, he started laughing, not at us, with us, at the absurdity of 40 monks trying to intimidate a rainstorm with their minds. This is anicca, impermanence. Everything changes, always, whether you give permission or not. The rain doesn't need your consent. The universe doesn't check with you first. Show of hands. How's all that controlling working for you? Has worrying ever, even once, changed an outcome? Here's what I learned that day in the rain. There are 3 zones in your life, things you control, your responses, your effort, your attention. That's it. Then there are things you can influence, your relationships, your health, your skills. You can affect these, but not command them. And finally, everything else, the weather, other people's choices, outcomes, the past, the future. You have 0 control here, 0. But you know what we do? We spend 90% of our energy trying to control that 3rd zone. We're exhausted because we're fighting battles we can't win. Do you see what I'm saying? I remember the day I stopped trying to control my meditation experience. I stopped demanding that my mind be perfectly quiet, that I reach some enlightened state. I just sat, just breathed, just was. Everything shifted. This is Kanti, patience, acceptance, not defeat, wisdom. Let me say that again. Surrender is not defeat. Surrender is wisdom. Today, right now, I want you to pick one thing you've been trying to control, just one. Maybe it's someone else's opinion of you. Maybe it's a situation at work. Whatever it is, I want you to consciously release your grip. Let it be what it is. Watch what happens. Listen to me carefully. I'm going to be vulnerable with you for a moment. For years, I told myself I wasn't good enough to be a real monk. My past was too messy. I'd made too many mistakes. I carried this story everywhere I went, like a suitcase full of bricks. You know what finally freed me? Realizing that story wasn't true. It was just a story, and I could write a different one. What story are you telling yourself right now about who you are, what you deserve, what's possible for you? Be honest, really honest. These stories, they have a pattern. They use words like always, never, everyone, no one. I always fail. No one really loves me. Things never work out for me. You hear it? Absolutes. No room for nuance, for growth, for change. The Buddha taught about the 2nd arrow. Life shoots you with the 1st arrow. That's the circumstance, the pain, the loss. You can't avoid that. But then you shoot yourself with the 2nd arrow, your story about what it means, your judgment, your narrative of victimhood or shame. That arrow, that's optional. This is tanha, our craving, our attachment. And sometimes we're more attached to our sad stories than we are to our freedom. Let that sink in. I had a student once who couldn't forgive her father. We worked on it for months. Then one day she said, "Wait, if I forgive him, who am I? I've been the daughter who was wronged my whole life. That's my identity." You see, she was clinging to the story because without it she didn't know who she'd be. Your story about yourself, it's just that, a story. You're the author, the director, the star, and right now you're stuck in a script you wrote years ago based on information you had as a younger, less wise version of yourself. What if you could write a new one, starting today? Here's my second teaching. Your story isn't facts, it's interpretation, and interpretation can change. This week, I want you to catch yourself telling your story. Notice the narrative. Then ask, is this absolutely true? Is this the only way to see this? What would a different story look like? You're not trapped, my friend. You're just convinced you are. Big difference. Close your eyes with me for just a moment. Take a deep breath. Now let me ask you something. Right now, in this exact second, are you okay? Not tomorrow. Not based on what happened yesterday. Right now, are you physically safe? Are you breathing? Do you have this moment? Open your eyes. You see what just happened? For a few seconds you were completely present, and in that presence everything was actually okay. Here's what I've learned. 90% of our suffering exists in the past or the future. We're standing with one foot in yesterday's regret and one foot in tomorrow's anxiety, wondering why we can't move forward. This very moment is the only one you'll ever actually live in. Everything else is memory or imagination, but we resist the present, don't we? Sometimes it's painful and we don't want to feel it. Sometimes it's boring and we want more stimulation. Sometimes being here means admitting difficult truths we'd rather avoid. I know this is hard. Your mind wants to race. Mine does too. Think about your day to day. How much of it were you actually present for? Or were you eating without tasting, talking while planning what to say next, walking without seeing anything around you? The Buddha said the secret of health is to live the present moment wisely and earnestly, not to mourn the past or worry about the future, but to be here. Let me tell you something. Even washing dishes became meditation for me when I learned to actually be there, feeling the warm water, seeing the soap bubbles, hearing the sound of plate against sponge. Every moment became alive. This is sati again, mindfulness, coming home to now. Our time here is limited, my friends. Every moment lost to rumination is a moment of life you'll never get back. Try this with me right now. Notice 5 things you can see, 4 things you can hear, 3 things you can feel against your skin, 2 things you can smell, 1 thing you can taste. You're here now, completely here. Your mind will wander. That's not failure. Noticing it wandered is the practice. Coming back is the victory. This week, pick one daily activity, just one. Brushing your teeth, drinking coffee, walking to your car, whatever. Do it with complete presence. Don't add anything to it. Just be fully there. Watch what happens when you finally come home to your own life. Okay, listen. This teaching right here, this is the one people resist most. And it's the one that will absolutely set you free. I can already feel some of you tensing up. But Tenzin, you don't know what they did to me. You're right. I don't. And I'm not minimizing your pain. Stay with me anyway. Forgiveness isn't about them. It's about you. Let me tell you something I learned the hard way. There was someone in my past who harmed me deeply. I carried rage toward this person for years. It poisoned everything, my practice, my peace, my relationships. I thought I was punishing them by holding on to this anger. Then one day my teacher said, "How much rent is this person paying to live in your head?" I stared at him. he continued. They're taking up enormous space in there, and you're letting them stay for free. That's when it hit me. Holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal to throw at someone else. You're the one getting burned. Feel that. Really feel it. The burn is in your hand, not theirs. Be honest with yourself right now. Who's suffering more, the person who wronged you, or you carrying this weight around every single day? Now listen carefully. Forgiveness doesn't mean what happened was okay. It doesn't mean you have to reconcile or trust them again. It doesn't mean you forget. Forgiveness means you're no longer willing to carry it. That's it. It's selfish in the best possible way. You're choosing your peace over their punishment. I had a student who forgave her abusive parent, not for the parent's sake, for hers. She said, I realized I could acknowledge what happened and still not let it define my present moment anymore. This is metta, loving kindness. It starts with yourself. Here's the practice. You don't have to feel forgiveness to choose it. You choose it first. The feeling follows later, sometimes much later. Start with forgiving yourself for all the ways you think you failed. Then move toward forgiving those who've harmed you. If you've harmed others, make amends where you can. My third teaching, forgiveness is a gift you give yourself. I want you to think of one person right now, one grudge. You don't have to do anything yet, just think. What would it feel like to set this down? Just consider it. That's enough for today. My dear friends, I want to share something with you that changed everything for me. Nothing lasts, not the good, not the bad, not this breath, not this moment. Everything is already leaving even as it arrives. I know what you're thinking. That's depressing, Tenzin, but stay with me. This is anicca, impermanence. It's the ultimate truth, and paradoxically, it's the ultimate freedom. Our suffering comes from demanding permanence in an impermanent world. We want the good things to last forever and the bad things to never happen. But that's not how reality works. Think of a river. You can't step in the same river twice because it's always flowing, always new. Fighting that flow creates suffering. Swimming with it creates ease. Remember autumn leaves? Their beauty exists because they're temporary. If they stayed on the tree forever, would you stop and marvel at them? Would you take pictures? Would poets write about them? Their brevity makes them precious. The Japanese have this concept, mono no aware, the bittersweet beauty of things passing. That ache you feel watching a sunset knowing it'll be gone in minutes. That's it. That's being awake to impermanence. I remember sitting in the monastery garden watching cherry blossoms fall. My master said, they bloom for 1 week. 1 week. And people travel across the country to see them. If they bloomed year-round, no one would notice. Everything you love will change. Your children will grow up, your parents will age, your body will change. That person you love will evolve into someone slightly different every day. Trying to freeze them in amber causes pain. Do you see what I'm saying? This moment right now is already becoming the past. Don't miss it by clinging to how you wish it would stay. Here's the practice. When something good happens, silently thank it and let it go. When something bad happens, whisper to yourself, this too shall pass. Both are true, both are liberating. My fourth teaching, everything you love will fade. Love it anyway. Love it more because it's fleeting. This week, notice when you're trying to make moments last forever or trying to rush through difficult moments. Just notice, impermanence isn't the problem. Our resistance to it is. Let it flow, my friend. Just let it flow. Look at me. You made it here. Through all 8 teachings. Do you know what that means? You're ready. Think about where we started, the weight you were carrying, the illusion of control, the stories you were trapped in, the past you couldn't release, the future you couldn't stop worrying about. And now you know that peace isn't something you achieve. It's something you uncover by letting go. You've learned that suffering is optional, that control is an illusion, that your stories aren't facts, that this moment is all you truly have, that forgiveness frees you, that nothing lasts, and somehow that's beautiful. Let me tell you something personal. That young monk who showed up at the monastery carrying all those invisible boulders, he's the one sitting here teaching you now. And the only reason I can do this is because I practiced what I'm sharing with you every single day. I'm not exempt from these teachings. I still catch myself gripping. I still resist impermanence. I still tell myself stories. But now I notice, and I come back to letting go. That's the practice. Here's what I want you to do. Pick one teaching that really hit you, just one. Maybe it's forgiveness, maybe it's presence, maybe it's releasing control. Whatever spoke to you most, commit to practicing it for 30 days, not perfectly, just consistently. Transformation isn't dramatic, it's the accumulation of small releases, a little less gripping here, a little more flowing there. Over time it adds up to freedom. The Japanese have another word, shibumi, effortless effectiveness, simple beauty. That's what emerges when you stop fighting and start flowing. That's your natural state. May you find peace in the release. May you find freedom in the flow. May you find yourself in the letting go. And listen, go share this wisdom. Your liberation will inspire others toward theirs. My dear friends, you were never meant to carry it all. You were meant to witness it, honor it, and let it flow through you like wind through open palms. That's inner peace, and it's been waiting for you all along. Go in peace.